What's going on today, guys? All right, so I don't know if you remember these, but these were some of the plants that we had to treat from thrips. Also, in addition to my philodendron sub that we have also gone over, and you've seen the videos of how that one bounced back. So I just wanted to circle back around and talk about these three and just talk about some of the things in the process that I have gone through since we had to do that to where I'm at now and how I feel about it. So let's go ahead and dive in. So before we even got to this point, I started seeing the plant leaves start to turn a little bit yellow, just kind of start just regressing. The leaves just started folding over, started having a lot of brown tips, and then just the leaf just really starting to have a lot of just brown placements all along the stem and so forth. At that time, I was not treating any type of pest or anything like that really. And as I did see them, I was only using the insecticidal soap and spraying it down and wiping the leaves. I wasn't into actually putting stuff into the soil and so forth. So I saw it, but kind of ignored it. And before it happened, it all got out of hand. Now, it didn't totally take out my philodendrons, but of course it took my monstera all the way out. Basically, every leaf had thrips just all through it. So I was like, you know what, instead of trying to wipe down every one, which I did try. I don't know why I said, you know what, I tried it, but I still couldn't treat it. It was just out of hand. So I just cut the plant all the way to its base and just said, you know what, it's going to do what it do. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. This plant, this monstera, has bounced all the way back. It was the one that we was over there at the white table and I was turned around. I think the lighting was horrible in there. Sound probably was a little off, but we was cutting the monstera down for thrips and hoping that it bounced back. I did a couple of them. Not all of them made it. I did 3 of them. One of them I did give to my dad. It was the very small one, and the other one died. And ultimately, it didn't make it because the one that I gave to my dad, that one died. Now, I don't know if that was from me or his environment, because it's just too much to experiment with. But I got it right. So, hey. The process is still the same. I've repotted every plant the exact same. So it's just, I've never had a plant bounce back from thrips before that I had to cut back. And believe you me, I'm always just looking at the plant like, is it coming back? Is it coming back? No, it's not. These two have been in the greenhouse since the repot. And this one kind of just been left all around the room, anywhere where I wanted it, and just make sure it's around some type of grow light. And here we are today. So the greenhouse being grown in or out clearly didn't matter. This one seemed to even do better being outside. So I don't have to worry about doing that the next time or worrying about the plant having a humid place in order for it to thrive. So these two plants just in general, they just love a lot of humidity. And I've noticed that my philodendrons that I have upstairs in the bathroom, they seem to be doing pretty good. But they didn't seem to do that great inside the greenhouse unless I just wasn't doing something right. What I'm thinking about doing now with these plants is definitely for this one, possibly cutting the stem down just to get the plant looking a little bit better, and maybe break these two and prop it in some water and just let that do some roots and go from there. Or I could stick it straight back into some soil and go from there and just start off with another plant. I don't know exactly what I want to do yet, but I don't like the way like the leaves, how this one is like cut off. These have like a little bit of that still goldish color that they used to have when it was sick. And I just want a fresh plant. If it's healthy and it's rooted and it's doing good, then I just want just to show off. I'm fine with it starting over and going from there. I think it'll actually help the plant out, and it'll help me out because we're going to make sure he doesn't get sick again, right? As far as my pink princess, I really don't know what I want to do with her. I do need to get her into an airy mix because this mix right here is just too confusing to know when it's water and when it's cool or not. It is dry right now. Again, this plant does pretty good in like a high humidity setting. Every single one of the plants that I have bought as a baby all died. They just die. I don't know what happens to them. They just die. Even this one right here is barely holding on, and I don't know how This one's having such a hard time, but this one seems to be doing all right, and they're in the same soil. So it's just the pink princess just don't like me. I do believe a pink princess is a very complicated plant, and people go into the store and we buy these plants for like $20 and $25, and we don't know what we're getting our hands on. They definitely require a little bit more care than what most people will say. I mean, I know people who have pink princess like, well, it does fine. I don't have to do nothing to it. And I'm just like, that's just not the case. I've been through too many of them to say that that's just not the case. I do know that it does great in high humidity. I have one in the bathroom doing great. And the same like peat moss doing amazing up there. A little bit smaller in leaf size than that, but that plant is beautiful. Maybe I'll do a video on it one day. But that's pretty much all I'm going to do about with this plant. I do have a leaf that's been stuck for a couple of days. So I'm going to get a Q-tip and see if I can open it up. And if the leaf doesn't become damaged, then I'll possibly keep it. But we do need to get her on something that she could just feel confidence on so she can continue just to grow up, because I think that she's going to do all right based off of the way that she's looking. Now, since I have all these plants on here, just to give my honest opinion, I believe the white princess was one of those plants that I was more infatuated off of an impulse buy. When I was in the store, I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And then when I got it home, it was nice, but it was like, okay. But I have another plant, you know, right here, which is a white knight. And it gave me the white variegations that I was seeking and stuff. And I just love the way this plant looks versus the way that this plant looks, the white princess. Now, to be fair, I also haven't seen her in all of her glory, or him in all of his glory, because it's been sick. So maybe when I cut it, I have to eat those words on saying that, hey, it's not all that. Because in the store, it was all that, but when I got it home, it stopped being all that. Of course, the Monstera, I will always buy another one of these. I'm so tempted to always buy a Monstera every time I go into a store, just because of how big and beautiful they are and how they grow up to be. But they get to be very big, very massive. And that's something I'm going to have to worry about longer in the future down the road. The one I have upstairs is massive, probably about 4 or 5 feet. I would say leaves on her probably about like that big. That's another video that we'll do, that we'll talk about. And pretty much that wraps things up, I guess, as far as when it comes to this video, because now I'm just starting to rumble. The plants are doing pretty good. I'm very proud of them. It took about 2 weeks of treatment to go through with them. I did it the first week. I did a full repot, changed the soil out just to make sure I can get whatever I could get out at most, because pests do live underneath that soil. And after I did that, I put the repot mix in there. I made sure it was very airy, just to kind of help make sure we don't have any root rot or anything like that. And then I, of course, used the Super Thrive or my Moon Juice when I did the watering after I did the repot, just to get those roots and stuff back healthy again. And then I put it into the pot and gave it the systematic granules. I put that at the bottom in here in these pots, or at the top of the soil, to help with those pests. And of course, we used the insecticidal soap. I did all that before I even did the repot to clean those leaves off and get that going. Best thing to do is take it to the shower. Be careful, because you don't want a lot of soil and stuff like that going down your drains, causing more problems than what it needs to be. So be mindful of that. I prefer the summertime, because that's when I get the water hose and spray. But remember, room temperature water, don't shock your plants. That being said, I definitely have a little bit more confidence in doing this, because now I know that I can do it. And the good thing is I'm able to give you the results to show you that what I showed you was the right way. A lot of times, especially with my early recording videos, guys, I was just hitting record and just going on. Like, I knew some stuff that worked, but I still then was experimenting as well. I only still was showing you the things that I knew did work. But as far as being able to show you on camera and get an angle right, and Lord knows the mumble part that I still do now, having some type of direction in those videos probably would have helped a little bit more. So with that being said, hopefully you was able to learn something. And as always, when you're growing with Sean, it's always something to learn.